What's going on YouTube? It's Common Sense, and today I'm going to be going over my top 5 fall fragrances for men. Now, we are entering the fall season, which means that summer is almost over. You're still feeling a little bit of the aspects, you're still feeling a little bit of the heat in the middle of the day, but in the afternoon and early in the mornings, it's starting to cool down a little bit, and it is just a wonderful time for fragrances. And so I have my top 5 fall fragrances for you guys to enjoy. So first up on the list, we have Versace Eros Flame. Versace Eros is named after the Greek god of love, and that's why Versace chose that name for their line. And so this is the flanker to the original Versace Eros. And this one is fantastic in my opinion. In fact, I like it a little bit better than the original Versace Eros. This one has got a blast of mandarin up top, so it's super fresh when you open it up, and when you spray that onto the hand, it's got lots of vanilla, tonka. It's sort of that sweet, a little bit synthetic, but it's not a bad sweetness in any means. And if you just smell it, so this is a powerhouse fragrance because I've sprayed this onto my wrist, onto my arm a little bit, and 9-10 hours later, I will still smell it. So I've sprayed this on a tester and I still smell it weeks later. So this just shows you how much of a powerhouse fragrance this is. So do not underestimate this one. This is very strong, but it is very pleasing. So I would say maybe 1 to 2 sprays of this and you will be good. Otherwise, it can be very strong and you don't want to offend anyone. This isn't really going to offend anyone. It's sweet. It's got some rose. It's got a little bit of some woody notes. So it also has mint and a little bit of rose in it as well that kind of blends it all nicely together and ties that in very nicely. This is definitely a wonderful fall fragrance if you want to go out to dinner with friends or family and you're just looking for something to kind of brighten up your evening. You're not necessarily super serious, but you just want something that's going to be mass pleasing and you're going to want it to last in this sort of half fall, half summertime evening and morning type feel. So this is going to be perfect for anyone who wants to do that. And I highly recommend that you guys go smell this on a tester or spray it on your arm next time you're at Macy's or Sephora. I would definitely recommend that you guys try this one out. And that one, it was Versace Eros Flame. So next up on the list, we have a fragrance by the house of Prada, and this one is called Prada Amber Porom. The reason that I love this fragrance so much is because it is just so sexy, it is so clean, invigorating, and every time that I smell it, I just feel at ease, and it's one of the greatest evening fragrances that you can have. In fact, you can wear this throughout the day. I've used this lunchtime, even in the morning, and I still feel really at ease whenever I smell this. So Amber Porom was launched in 2006 and was created by Daniela Andrier. I apologize for my pronunciation, but she did a wonderful job at creating this fragrance. Originally, she wanted to create a fragrance for men that she believed that a man should smell like. This will give you compliments by the opposite sex. That is definitely an indicator. So the first time that I smelled this fragrance, I immediately thought that it smelled like something that I had smelled before. And it actually reminds me a lot of that gold antibacterial hand soap that doctors and surgeons would use. Now that's not a bad thing. I believe that's why it's so commonly compared to a soapy, but that's not a bad thing. It smells very clean, it's fresh, it's very warm and spicy. So almost like warm water mixed with that sort of soapiness. It's amazing. It smells like the most expensive bath almost that you can get. And there's just nothing quite like it out there. So up top, you have notes of mandarin, neroli, bergamot, and cardamom. And then as you get lower into the middle notes, you have these white, wonderful florals mixed with vetiver and myrrh. Myrrh is that wonderfully spicy Middle Eastern kind of smelling note that gives it that sort of wonderful, just deep, dark spiciness, that sort of amber quality. And then as you go to the base, you've got vanilla, saffron, tonka, sandalwood, and just wonderful, sort of like a cashmere leather almost towards the bottom. So this is definitely a wonderful fragrance that's gonna last a long time, and I definitely think you guys should give this one a try because it is one of my favorites. Oh my gosh, and let me just show you the box real quick. If I can just show you the box. Prada never ceases to amaze me with its quality. I mean, with the box, You get this really awesome, wonderful patterned box on the outside. It's got little ridges. It totally is in line with Prada's quality of their line. And so Prada Amber Parome, you should definitely give a try. And I guarantee that you guys will love this and will get compliments. Next up on the list is one by the house of Mont Blanc. And so this fragrance is Mon Blanc Explorer. So this fragrance is a little bit polarizing in the community because many feel that it's just a ripoff, another clone of Creed Aventus. I don't think that that's necessarily true. I've smelled Creed Aventus before and it smells very similar to this, or I should say this smells very similar to Creed Aventus, but this has its own charm. This has a fantastic blast of bergamot up top. And you have those wonderful woodsy, woody, spicy, kind of smoky notes at the very bottom that just make it so irresistible. And this is my favorite fragrance that I own. Up top, you've got notes of clary sage, which is sort of a calming and almost like a restorative note that will just make you really at ease. And so you also have notes of pink pepper, which makes it a little bit spicy with some of the bergamot vetiver. So at the base, you have akigala wood, you have some ambergris, you've got a little bit of cacao pod. I don't really smell that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not present. So you have that as well as patchouli at the bottom. This is just a wonderful fragrance, and I have so many fantastic memories with this. Last year, I would always go walk around Macy's, my local mall, and I would go and sample this with my girlfriend. This was our favorite fragrance before we broke up, but just there are so many wonderful memories attached with this. I don't think those memories would have been as memorable if I didn't smell this. As crazy as that sounds, I think that just shows how amazing this fragrance is. I strongly feel that you guys should have this in your arsenal, in your collection, if you have any clones that are similar to Aventus, but I think this takes it in a wonderful direction with that refreshing bergamot up top. It's just wonderful. I just can't get enough of this. And there's lots of clones, you know, you have stuff like Afnan Supremacy Silver. And Afnan Supremacy Silver is a fantastic clone, but it's a little bit smoky in my opinion. And this, I just love the way Mon Blanc Explorer is blended and the balance of all of the notes. They just work together perfectly. And so I definitely think you should get Mon Blanc Explorer in your collection. Next up on the list, we have a scent from the house of Salvatore Ferragamo. And this one is Aqua Essenziale Blue by Salvatore Ferragamo. So Salvatore Ferragamo has come up with a lot of fantastic scents in this Aqua Essenziale line. I love all of them. I think Colonia is my favorite. I think that's one of the greatest summer, springtime fragrances that you can purchase. But Aqua Essenziale Blue is wonderful in its own way. I've heard people online compare it to Bleu de Chanel. I do think it's similar enough to maybe make it those comparisons. Up top, we have a blast of lavender, cardamom, got the bergamot lemon, and then towards your middle notes, you have more cedar. You've got some lavender as well as some sort of a fern note. And then towards the base, we get wonderful ginger, benzoin, wonderful patchouli, and ambergris towards the bottom. The reason I'm choosing this one for this list is because sometimes we want something that's not as heavy as, I don't know, something like Spice Bomb or Ombre Leather by Tom Ford. You want something that's gonna be sort of in a middle ground. So this one, it leans a little bit more on the fresh side, but it definitely has a nice warm heart and base to it. It's definitely balanced. It's clean and clear and sweet when it needs to be. In the fall time, I think that's when this is probably the best, because in the summer, it can get a little strong, it can get a little sweet, and just that tonka towards the bottom mixed with that sort of gingery, fantastic benzoin. When you have that combined together, it is just a powerhouse. Man, if you wear this on a rainy day, it will improve your mood so much. This is a fragrance that will make you happy. It makes me happy to wear. It just boosts my attitude whenever I wear it. And it's just so sweet, clean, and refreshing. And the lavender calms you down, and it's just, there's nothing like this. In fact, the more that I smell this, the more I fall in love with it. And I've tried wearing this in the summer. It's a little strong, but you guys need to try this. Aqua Essenziale Blue by Salvatore Ferragamo. And last but not least, we have one for when it gets a little bit colder outside, not necessarily too hot. This is going to be something that you're going to want to wear if it gets a little bit cooler outside, evenings, mornings, not necessarily straight, when the sun is up high and you're outside. It can come off as a little strong, but even then, it still is a gorgeous scent. And I am talking about another one from the house of Mon Blanc Individual. So this fragrance, wow, it just blows me away. At the top, you have a fantastic, unbelievable raspberry note with vanilla, some cinnamons, and just all these wonderful spicy notes, but not too dark and not too spicy. And you have it mixed with some chocolate, some gourmands. You have a little bit of pineapple, you have some amber, you've got juniper berries, wonderful mint and bergamot, and then towards the bottom you have vetiver again, that raspberry. You've got some musks and some amber and patchouli. So this is a wonderful fall gourmandish fragrance, and this would even be wonderful in the winter. And this is by far one of my favorite gourmandish fragrances that I have in my collection. And I know that you guys will love this. And when you smell it, you also get some cardamom and a little bit of rosemary as well. So it's a tad bit herbal, just a little bit at the base. And then up top, you just have these wonderful, sweet and sexy, kind of a chocolate raspberry vanilla type scent. This is just like a jacket fragrance, if that makes sense. So if you wear long sleeves or you're at like a family event or a formal event, I do think you can dress this up, but this is sort of an intimate and just wonderful gourmandish fragrance. One time I wore this to my college campus student job, and there was a girl in one of my classes and she complimented me and she said that it just smelled fantastic. I was helping her with something on the computer, and so she like stopped, she put her hand on my arm and she's like, "What is that?" I'm like, that's probably my cologne. And so she got up and she was like smelling my arm. She was like, "Oh my gosh, that smells so good." But yeah, like I've got lots of compliments on this one, and this is one of my favorite gourmandish raspberry chocolate gourmand fragrances. And I know you guys cannot go wrong with Mon Blanc's Individuel. And so that wraps up today's video. I know it was a little bit longer than normal, but I'm going to try and make some of these videos a little bit longer for you guys. And I know that these are great to put on in the background when you're studying or if you're just on a car ride. So definitely watch out for more content that I'm going to be putting out. I'm going to be stepping up my production game. I bought a Canon T5i, I bought a lavalier microphone, I got some lighting kits, and so we're going to try and make this channel pop. So I would appreciate if you guys would click that subscribe button down there, like the video if you liked it, leave a comment, your favorite fall fragrances, or just favorite fragrances in general. And I'd like to see what you guys think about my list and if you have any lists of your own. Leave any comments if you have any other video ideas that you might like to see from this channel. And I highly encourage you guys to just subscribe and press that notification button so you can get my videos sent straight to your inbox. It has been a pleasure. My name is Common Sense, and I will see you guys in the next one.